Welcome home, family and fellow citizens of the African Order. I'm here with another video, and the topic of this discussion is the blame game. I was talking to this guy on Instagram the other day, and he didn't like what I commented on this post. And I told him, I said, look, 99.9% of what I comment on social media is about black people, black unity, black independence, blacks governing their own affairs, blacks building their own businesses and industries, black building black communities. And he's like, well, basically, you're talking about segregation. Well, pretty much, yeah. Well, I don't like that. That pulls the country, that makes the country take a few steps back. Well, first of all, this is not our country. We don't have equal share of nothing. So then he started talking about, well, it's not white people's fault that blacks are in this position. They don't embrace education. I said, bruh, blacks created education. So what are you talking about? You know, this is one of the reasons why I don't like talking to white people about race, because they want to come at you with this, we want people, don't let them divide us and blah, blah, blah. But when they see you not about their life, that's when all they bigotry start to show. They start to tell you how they really feel about black people. You don't embrace, education. You're thugs, you this, you that. But they don't really tell the truth. And the fact of the matter is, when blacks were enslaved, they were stripped of their way of life, their heritage, their culture, their language. Then they went through almost 300 years of enslavement. 300 years where our people just was not educated. And then white people established laws after we were free to keep us under their control. He brought up some incident where blacks had enslaved whites. And I said, bruh, it's not the same thing. Once y'all enslavement was over, it was over with. You've been over us ever since you encountered us. So if it's not you that we should blame, who is it? Who's in charge of our education? Who employs us? Who pays us? Who governs over us? Every time you turn around, you setting the standard for black people. I can't wear a beard. If I wear dreadlocks, you're cutting them out. You play sports, you make some money, you wear jewelry, you criticize that. Every time you turn around, you're doing something to marginalize or just make life more difficult for us. I can't wipe my backside without running into you setting some type of standard on how I do that. So if it's not white people that I can blame, who else could I who else could it be? Then they go off into all this other stupid stuff, and I'm just I'm sick and tired of constantly trying to talk to my people to get them to understand that throughout all our social ills, our lack of employment, our quality of education, quality of life, can all be resolved if we built our own. That way, when people like this start talking to you, the more you do for yourself, the less you hear from them. Because we be in our own community, because they're going to talk about you. And they're going to do whatever they can to stop you. But the more you do for yourself, the more you drown them out. Because nowhere on earth have white people been and elevated the quality of life of the indigenous people. They have no historical proof evidence of elevating the lives of anyone. They suck life just like weeds. You put weeds in the yard, next thing you know, your nice plush green yard is just saturated with dandelions, and all because of them. You know, when you look at black people, when we come out of enslavement, and then we turn around and working for the same race of people who enslaved us, going to school, being educated by the same people who enslaved us, laws being created by the same people who enslaved us, laws being enforced by the same people who enslaved us. If white people are not to blame, then tell me who else could it be? When blacks left and broke and built their own community, who came and tore it down over and over again? They use infrastructure to tear up our communities. They took freeways and put it over Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so that people can't drive through the town and bring valuable resources. They did the same thing to other black communities. They just removed the access ramps. Who's to blame for that? Who has the power and authority to do that? Who had the power and authority to allow bombs to be dropped on Tulsa, Oklahoma 100 years ago? If white people didn't do it, then who did? We've been up under their control, their manipulation, their marginalization ever since we encountered them. So if black people did enslave whites, it wasn't nearly as horrific and as what they put us through. They would never let blacks go because they know once we do that, once they get us out from under their oppressive system, then what was inside of us will start to elevate. Because I love seeing my people, when we get together, we laugh, we joke, we embrace each other, and then the one white guy, when I was working at Atlas, me and the brother got to talking, and next thing you know, we laughing and giggling, blah, 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 and dude said, oh, you know this guy? I said, no, this is my first time meeting him. I said, oh, y'all talking like y'all, this is what we do, but we don't have your negative influence around. So if you just, step to the side, keep on going where you was going, let me and my man continue kicking it. I appreciate it very much. They don't want to see that. That's the last thing they want to see. This is why every time you see black people in a group, who comes to break it up? White people. So if it's not you to blame, then who else can we blame? Like I say, you can't do anything without whites trying to set some boundaries, holding themselves as a standard for blacks to reach to. We can't elevate to our own level. We need to just strive for equality with them. You sodomize grown men. You rape women and children. This is your MO. Why on earth do you think the height of our people would be equal to you? What makes you think that? White people never want to get you to the point where you can elevate, because now, why would you want to go back down to that level again? Once you start ascending back to where you're supposed to be, your rightful place in this world, why would you go back to that? And try as they may, white people know that's why they set themselves as the standard of equality, because they know if you set the standard, they could never reach it. Never could they reach it. We got to understand that. And you know, before I get out of this video, let me say this. They're talking about a lot about this critical race theory, and there's, like I said, there's no true definition of it, and they're arguing about it all the time on TV. But let me say this one thing about it. The guy was on TV saying that white people are, well, critical race theory teaches that white people are inherently racist. And I'm going to tell you that is 100% true. And I know a lot of you may disagree with that. But like I said, when you come here, when you tune into this channel, when you watch this video, you're going to hear the truth. And it may be a truth that you don't want to hear, but it's going to be a truth that you need to hear. All white people are inherently racist. There isn't a one of them that would systematically dismantle the economic, the political, judicial condition that they benefit from to share it equally with black people. They'll march with you, they'll protest with you, they'll even go to jail with you. But they will never do anything to tear down what they benefit from. And if you need more evidence, more proof to that, turn to your white friend, turn to your white teacher. And if you got one, turn to your white mama and ask her, when you look at all the problems that blacks have in education, lasting in employment, low wages, I can go on and on. If they built their own businesses and industries, governed over their own affairs, and did this for the next 10, 15 years, what would blacks look like then? Wouldn't that be better for them? Your white mama ain't gonna give you a, they sure would, they should do that. She's not gonna say that. She's gonna say, your white friend, your white school teacher, your white mentor, they'll say, we just need to learn to get along. This world, this country, this world would be a lot better place if we just learn to get along. Because if black people do that, then that would be segregation, and segregation is bad. We need to be integrated. We need to learn to get along with each other. Yeah, they want you to get along with white people now. Now that you have no original language, you don't have your culture, you don't have your heritage, you don't have no businesses, no industries, no governing body that specifically look over your needs. Yeah, they want you to be, their friend now, because they know they could never be your friend if you can support your own. White people will not come into a black space without having the power and authority to alter their life. Create your own jobs, create your own governing body, establish your own economic floor, be about your own black business, be able to put food on your table without having to deal with white people. Whites can't come into that environment. They won't have the influence, they won't have the power, nothing. Like I'm telling this guy, the fact of the matter is, whether white people are to blame or not, the quality of life blacks live, the quality of life blacks have, the quality of life that blacks can pass on to their children, they should be able to attain or influence whether they ever see a white person or not. We shouldn't have to get along with white people to put food on our table. If we got to do that, we're in a whole lot worse shape than you ever imagined. So I'm going to end this video here. And if you like it, please share it. And if you like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And with this video, as with all my videos, it is for the complete liberation of my people. And I see you in my next message. Ashe.